Abuse VQ, stay locked in.
Absolutely not. If you are an 80s baby, you saw Final Destination. We don't play those games, mister. Absolutely not. So you already see what it is, squad. We here. Blessings. Had to take the front bumper off to get it off the trailer. Just due to how low the 3.5 is. You already know the vibe. So what we're going to do now, before we return the trailer, or after we return the trailer and get back, now that we got the car in here, get it jacked up, let's start with the wiring harness, start getting to that, and then we'll get to the coolant in the radiator and in the engine itself, with a couple of these main hoses over here. And then it's time to pull the banjo bolt off of the high pressure steering hose on the power steering pump. Get that going. Yeah, but first and foremost too, I gotta take off the hood. Let's take off the hood, get everything first spacious so we can get ready to have some fun. Y'all already know the vibe, team. Stay locked in. You already know. Alright, squad. So in here, keep your eye on the loop. Y'all already know the vibe. So we got the radiator and the fans out, you know, hoses off. We got it disconnected. Looking good, making some leeway, you know, just breaking this harness down as we go. I think now that we have this disconnected here, let's see, where does this go? This and this. I'm running the same with this. Then we'll, then we'll separate that and start going from it with the harness from right to left and start working it out so we can get this engine pulled, get this transmission, and change this clutch, pressure plate, throw out bearing, you know, all the good stuff. So let's get it, squad. You already know the vibe. Let's lock in. Road dog with me per usual. So squad, working this wiring harness so we can get ready to pull this engine. You already know, night vibes work the best overnight. Where we at with it? I gotta get in here and get this last clip here up front that goes down to my AC compressor. And then we have to get this last connection here that runs into my VVT solenoid here in the back. Well, under here in the front. But the one in the back there, I believe I can leave that plugged in, and like this sub harnessed here in the back. I can leave this stuff plugged in and just unplug the main clip in the back, only because this is a sub harness. I just want to make sure I get everything from the main harness off, and you know, the sub harness will be good. Then from here, drain the oil. Kind of pissed off about that because literally I literally just did an oil change on this shit. Didn't even start the car. So that one kind of has me heated, but it's just oil. We can order some more, replace that. It is what it is. And from there, power steering pump. We're going to have to disconnect the high pressure hose, break that banjo bolt, and drain the power steering fluid. Get that out of here. And probably one of the next joints, we're gonna have to move the fuse box out the way so I can get to the screws here on the passenger side motor mount. You know, we got the front, rear motor mount, but we're getting there. We're just about there so we can pull this engine. Transmission already separated. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna get some spare bolts just to put in there so we can hold the transmission to the engine while I'm taking it out. or in all honesty, once I get ready and pull the engine, I got enough space. I can just put the jack under the transmission. So now once I pull the engine up top, transmission with enough space here, and just let that come down bottom. Nice squadron. Wanna see we here. About to pull this damn engine, so now we can do everything we need to do in the course of this gorgeously hot ass Sunday. And once we pull the engine, we'll be able to get to everything. We gotta watch the transmission though, because that's separated from when I did that in New York. So this is pretty much the end result. We'll pull the engine, get the transmission, so now we can separate it completely and do the clutch pressure plate, throw out bearing, all the good stuff. So let's get it. All right, squad, you see where we at, baby? Getting ready to pull this joint. Let's get y'all over here. We'll get back on the live in a minute to keep it coming, but you see we officially have it separated. It's like, yeah, that clutch is looking done. Done. And yeah, team, let's just finish getting the engine out. Everything is disconnected, so it's pretty much just hanging by the cherry picker, you know what I mean, by the engine hoist. So we'll see if we can get it up a little bit further as far as height wise. If not, the next thing before I bring the jack over would be to see how I can jack this up a little bit to get a little bit of clearance. And then the next thing I'm probably gonna have to do is take the car off the jack stands up front and let that sit all the way down on the tire. Let it sit on the tire, and that should give me the clearance to finish getting this out. But even as of right now, the joint is on here, so I'm gonna have to jack this joint up anyway, because you can't really move this with the way the car is on the bottom portion there. So we'll have to get that, squad, but it's coming out. It's coming out. Let's get it going. All right, just so I have it for reference, let's spin it around so we can kind of see what we're looking like. Bolt pattern wise and how it lines up. Just get a good eye for that. Alright, y'all. I'm just keeping it a buck. This shit is looking bizzad, mo. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to get my brake cleaner, cause this shit is done, bro. Peep game. That shit is done, bro. Yeah, my G. It burnt out. So this was my racing clutch, and it ain't survive, dogs. You know what I'm saying? Can't front. It held up. I'm not even gonna hold you. It held up, bro. I had this shit for what? A little under 4 years. So like, you know what I mean? So this definitely did me on my daily. And yeah, let's just spray it down. Let's get it nice and clean. You know what I mean? We got the fresh one right over here. Let's do a quick comparison. Let me get the other one out the box and see what material is missing. Oh, shreddy. All right, team. So I went with the Exity Pro Racing Kit. This is like, it's a little bit above OME, but it's just a better OME version of my clutch. I wanted to go with the racing joint again, but I'm not even gonna hold y'all, B. Dude did me greasy on eBay while I was looking, right? So the joint I was looking to get, the stage 1 racing clutch to replace this, right? The shit was like 4 and some change. Let's just say like 430, 440. I was like, all right, I spend the bread on that. Like, I'll replace my joint, no problem. I go and I put it on my watch list, Yo, bros, the very next day, why is this shit like 6 and some change, Mo? Like, it's like a $200 almost increase on this shit. It's like, nah, we not doing it. So I just went with the, like, pretty much organic joint, you know what I'm saying? A little bit better than owing me, but pretty much owing me, squad. If it comes down to it again, and I can get it for the right price, I'll pick up another racing clutch. And I mean, I can only imagine, give it another year or two, it'll probably be time to do some other things, not necessarily this, because like I said, this clutch lasts me 4 years through an accident, all that. You know what I'm saying, squad? So this has been here since the first initial swap on the 2.0. So we in here, baby. Let's just get it sprayed. Let's get it wiped down. Let's get it cleaned up. Everything is wavy for the most part. Like I said, let's see what we got. Let's see what we get, and we in here, team. Let's go. So just wanted to show y'all A-team. You already know, squad. We got fresh clutch, fresh pressure plate. Now let's change gears and get it over to the transmission so we can start cleaning that out. But we got it, squad. Just wanted to go over it with you too in a diagonal pattern. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So we did it in a cross pattern. I had to kind of catch myself there. I was like, yo, you was bugging, bro. How did you do it? But did that in that sequence as I showed you guys right there, and tighten all 9 of those bolts down to 24 foot-pounds. Shaba. Got my trusty torque wrench. So 24 foot-pounds for all those bolts all the way around, and should be good, squad. Should be really good. So we in here. Let's get to the transmission and see what we got. All right, squad. So thus far, besides getting the clutch and pressure plate swapped, and then we're going to clean the transmission, we were working here on the power steering, but it necessarily wasn't like the pump or anything like that. It was the hoses that was leaking, and you could clearly see how that like stripped all the damn paint off my joint once I cleaned it. Because you see, I got the silver touch. This, I got a silver little touch up here, but bland as shit down there. So we gonna have to clean this up, hit that again. But we changed the outlet, the return and outlet hose. So both of these joints, brand new, fresh, old hose over there for the outlet inlet joint. I don't know if y'all be able to see it. This joint right here, you know what I mean? Done deal. So we changed both of those. That was definitely leaking. It wasn't crazy, but it was leaking enough that it made me think I had an oil leak. That was definitely the problem. So I'm glad I was able to attack that issue, solve that, and it wasn't the pump, it was just the hoses. But even if it was the pump with, you know, the engine out, it wouldn't be a big deal to get to it and change it. But while we're here, right, and we're doing everything, before we pair the transmission back to the engine, or after we do that, my next joint is probably gonna get into this alternator and swap that. Again, not 100% sure, excuse me, on when or how it failed. Like I said, probably the leaking from the valve cover gasket up front leaked onto that, and oil got in it and shorted it out. So that's a no-go, but we got the fresh one in the Bizox. Y'all already know the vibe, squad. We'll get to that too, and a few other things we need to do so we can wrap this joint up and get back on the road, squad. All right, squad, in here, you could kind of see straight off the rip where I hit it with the brake cleaner just to clean it. I took the clutch fork and the throwout bearing out. So now with those, we can get it. We'll clean the clutch fork. I got a brand new throwout bearing over here, exidy. You already know the vibe, squad. Shaba. Just gotta get that. But we just want to clean out the inside of the transmission, get it nice and clean. You know what I mean? That'll definitely always help make me feel better. Lube up the pivot ball for the clutch fork and swap it out. We'll clean the clutch fork, hit that with some brake cleaner as well, get that nice and clean, and I'll show y'all guys what we looking like, squad. But forward march, team. Just trying to get everything in order, so pretty much we can slap it back in. Y'all already know the vibe. Let's go. So here we go, squadron. Y'all already see what time we on, baby. So we got the fresh one. About to get ready to flip like that. See everything match up. Match up, match up. Everything good, squad. So now that we got the old one out, literally 2 bolts, but then you gotta take your belt and the tensioner, get that loose to get the belt off. But it's nothing crazy, team. But just wanted to keep y'all in the loop, you know what I'm saying? We'll start on deck. But before we start this, we definitely, once we reinstall the engine and we do that front header, also after we mate the transmission back to the engine, we'll definitely do that front valve cover gasket. But I'm thinking, while I have it up and it's accessible, I might just do this rear valve cover gasket. I need to find my black Permatex or black silicone. But other than that, we'd be good to go, because that is right over there. You know what I mean? Good to go on that. So just keeping y'all in the loop. You already know, team. It's like damn near a whole new rebuild, or a whole rebuild, just taking care of everything that we need to take care of. So once I put this shit back together, squad, we are fucking good. You already know the vibe, team. Stay locked in with your boy. Let's go. All right, squadron. Y'all see we locked in. So it's this 12mm screw right here. Again, you see I got my adapter from the kit, so we can do the swap. And then it's this 14 right down here, which would be down back on that side. If you can see that bolt right there, let's zoom in. Right there. So we got it locked in. It's nice and sturdy. Next joint, let's just get the belt on. Reverse process. You know, everything wavy. And load the belt back up. Let's do what we do. You already know the vibe. All right, squad, let's keep y'all in the full loop. It's like you start off with one thing and thinking you're good and it's light, and it just literally turns or spirals into a whole bunch of shit. So squad, front header is off, rear header is off, right? I got the rear header right here, squad. And of course, what does this shit have? There's a crack right here, and then on the inside, I don't know if y'all be able to see it. Yeah, that should do it. A hairline crack right there. So we got to get the rear done as well, which is going to hold up the rebuild as far as slapping everything back together. But now I'm glad I took it off and I checked the rear joint rather than just leaving it. Next joint, if I'm not mistaken, we have to clean the ports on the front and rear headers, just to make sure that we're good. I have new gaskets with new hardware for like the Y pipe, like the headers connecting to the Y pipe, so that'll be a good look. But now my next task, team, is to mate this transmission back with the engine, so we'll be good. So if I can just line it up on the dowels right here, one here, then it's one over here, pretty much it'll clamp together. Will be good once the spindle right here gets in there and we're good, or drive shaft, whichever one. Once that gets in and we have it mated, we got the bolts, and we'll get the top tightened down, or get the top started by hand first, get that out the way, and then we'll hoist the engine back up, and we'll do the bottom bolts. So that's the next project right now that I'm working on. I took the front header to the shop down here, and my guy, of course, when I take it, he's on his lunch break. So we'll wait for him to do that. If I feel like it's taking too long, in my humble opinion, because you know I'm hella impatient, I gotta take this one too. So I'll just take that as well and try and get both of them done at the same time. Or if the first one is done, take that one over there so we could get the second header done. And we can call it a wrap, team. You already know, baby. Trying to keep y'all in the loop. Stay locked in. All right, squad. I can't tell you how long it was, but once we got the engine straight and it wasn't on like a tilt and it was more level, as you can see, we have it mated for the most part. I got the bolts in, everything went straight in. I was able to screw it down finger tight, literally until I couldn't screw it anymore. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts on top. We're gonna take the impact, we're gonna tighten them down slowly just to make sure everything lines up, because we got the dowel and everything, as you can see right there, that's lined up. And the other one that's like right over here, you won't be able to see it, but that other dowel is literally, see where my finger is, right here. And it's all lined up, everything is wavy. So I'm just figuring, take my time and make sure everything goes in nice and smooth. You know what I mean? Phrasing. But yeah, get everything done, team. Try and lock this transmission down, and then once we have the top bolts in, we'll raise the engine on the hoist and get the bottom bolts. So you already know the vibe, team. Let's go.